Probably have to beep out half the he says. What's up guys, I'm Manny from Motomillion and I have my good buddy Michael with us. And this is something we just started off doing and we're calling it After Ride because we just came back from a ride. If you guys don't know Michael, if you haven't seen him on our channel, he's been on 650 Eve's channel quite a bit. He is the jockey and he is a very well and seasoned rider. So today we went for a ride. We took the Tuono V4 and the Motomillion Panigale V2 on a ride. If you guys call me a Ducati fanboy, he is by far the biggest fanboy of BMW. So we took him out of his element. We put him on a Ducati that he did not stop complaining about, something that he'll tell you in a second probably, and a few more times after that. And also we put him on the Aprilia. He's actually a big fan of the Aprilias. But first of all, let's start off by talking about rides because Michael was not mic'd up. If you watched that ride video, he wasn't mic'd up with me. We just went for a ride and I was doing my ride on the Tuono V4 and also on the Panigale V2. And I really want to hear his thoughts because I actually value his thoughts since he's such a seasoned rider. We'll quickly start off with the Panigale V2 because he has experience on various Panigale V2s that he's ridden and also I think an 899 that he had ridden. So he came in with a little bit of a background on the platform, let's say. So the mic's off to you, Michael. I want to hear your thoughts on the Motomillion Panigale V2.
You heard the first thing that I told you is like, I don't understand how you weighed that bike and it's saying that it's like super heavy, like it's heavy as V4, and it actually feels super nimble and light. I just still don't know how they were able to make it because it really feels super light and it's very nimble and it's easy to turn with it. And the second thing was that I was expecting it to feel slower. Because like many said, I had many like customers' bikes that they want me to test drive and see if everything is okay. And I was riding, 899 and some V2s before, and it felt slow. And this time, I don't know, I sat on this and probably due to a little bit of parts that you changed.
A little bit, right?
So it feels actually very good and I was expecting it to be slower. So I really, really enjoy it. Probably the nimbleness and also the handling is also due to the handlebar setup.
Yeah,
the handlebar setup, it's amazing. It's super like wide and up. I think it's higher than normal, isn't it?
Probably.
Yeah.
I adjusted to what I like.
Yeah, it feels like it's like very, very like comfortable. And it's super easy to like put into the handlebars and it just like turns very nicely. And even if it doesn't have the carbon wheels, I don't know what is the weight difference between these and the carbon wheels,
but quite a bit. These wheels are not the lightest wheels. So imagine if you put a light set of wheels. We did it because of the looks of the wheels and the look that we were going for. But these are an older model of the OZ Racing, so.
Yeah. No, it feels nice. Of course, I'm not gonna comment on the looks, like it looks amazing, everything that is available to change, many changed, but I think it looks super, super nice.
That's one thing, it's hard to tell people, right? Because it was I think it was on 650 Eve's V4R, remember we put the bars, he kind of didn't like it because
and he didn't like it, yeah.
But ever since we built the V4X and I ran the wide bar setup, I think in every single bike I want that feeling, and it really changes the way that it rides, right? So the counter steering becomes so much easier. Maybe that adds to the nimble effect, but you weren't here when we were weighing the bike. We actually thought that the scale was broken. We moved it around and we were like, this can't be it. This is heavier than the V4, or at the time we were weighing the M1000 RR that was here. And but it really feels lightweight.
I still don't understand like how the design is the same, like say the tail is a little different, but like the design is more or less the same. It's missing half of the engine, it's missing half of the crankshaft, 2 pistons, 2 rods, missing everything, missing half of the cylinder head. What? How it can weigh more than the V4?
I have no idea.
What did they made it? Copper?
No, but it's still, the engine casings are still magnesium on this too, so I don't know.
It's like I just cannot comprehend it, like how is it so heavy, and on that, and it feels lighter. I rode numerous times, I rode the V4s and all this from SP2 or all of them, and you know, it feels lighter.
And it's hard to, and it's not like a couple pounds heavier. It's like 30, 40 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he hasn't made a comment about the heat.
Yeah, of course, he's, you know, like, everything that I'm complaining about, and I'm always joking because many cannot say it that like, yes, it's hotter, you know, he never said that, you know,
It's
he's
warm.
like, no, it's warm, we are in Miami, you know, it's warm, and he always saying, oh, I removed the covers for the cylinder heads. It's not from the covers, it's from the exhaust that is wrapped around, probably 15 feet of exhaust piping is wrapped around under your seat, so and you're sitting on that, so of course all the V4s and V2s, everything
the more power
that
it makes, the more
everything that has the headers under your ass is gonna feel hot.
Yeah. Well,
and especially in Miami when we're riding, and right now we had what 97 degrees of ambient temperature, and you're sitting on the exhaust that of course it backfires and everything, and every time I let off the gas and I go into the traffic I feel like my ass burning, and he's like, no, it's normal. You know?
I want to ask you something else. So you got to see the clutch cover. What do you think? That's like something new, right? It's parts, and that's what we do here. And I mean, we never throw parts at stuff just because. I really think we put some thought process behind it, and this clutch cover, I think, is the prettiest clear clutch.
It's definitely the nicest clutch cover. You know, on the XDL, I have the other one. Who makes that? The Duca bike makes that one, and it's the same color scheme, so I have it in black and silver. And of course, this is nicer. And I don't know if those Duca bike ones creating like that vortex as much. I don't think so.
I don't know, maybe because the shape. You see how this is like
think
concave?
Because of that shape, whenever I was riding next to you, it was like super beautiful. Like the oil was like really in a vortex.
You gotta take a look at it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it's knocking.
Yeah, I heard when we were riding, when I let off the gas, some knocking, you know, so I was like, man, is it okay? Did it sound like that before? Because I didn't hear it, so.
No, it's just, I think
okay.
No, I don't think it was, it was something that, I guess the valve train is a little noisy, but when I rode it, when you said it, I heard something, but.
Yeah. No, after I rode it, like a couple blocks, I didn't hear it anymore, and then we swapped the bike,
So all jokes aside, so the Tuono, completely different bikes, right? One is, this is a sport bike, and the Tuono is a naked sport bike.
I'm super familiar with like the Tuono and that style of the motorcycles because like my previous bike before the S1000RR was S1000 single R, so it's direct competitor to this thing. Just the noise is better, you know, the sound of the exhaust and sound of the engine. To me, it's not the Ducati, it's not BMW, it's the Aprilia has the nicest sound of all the motorcycles because of the engine and the exhaust, of course, just enhance the engine sound. But I was a little bit disappointed, I told you, right? Like because of, I don't know if there's something wrong with the bike, it has very little miles. It has very little miles, right? How many miles it has?
300?
Yeah, so maybe it will break in or maybe it will get better, but when I had the single R, or if I sit on double R, of course, but even with the single R that had the same horsepower like this, actually on the paper, this has 10 horsepower more. And but when I saw the stock dyno videos of few people that it dynoed the same, the Tuono, then the S1000 single R, the old generation that I had, it was like 2016, it dynoed like 159. And on second gear with all the traction control, everything turned off, I hit it and it doesn't come up by itself. So I was surprised that it doesn't like just shoot up. I know that the people putting like larger sprockets on it, but I was like, why would you put larger sprocket on it? For sure it would just come up super easily, but it didn't. Of course on the first gear it come up easily, but I was surprised actually with the gearing, but everything else, it's great. You know, to me, this is the best style of the motorcycles for any cities. Like, that's definitely, like, if you want to go on sport bike less than 100 miles an hour of any of the V4s, Panigales, or any of S1000s, or even RS-V4, it's just less comfortable. You're not using the power. You know, your back hurts and all these things. So if you take the S1000 single R or the M1000 single R, or you take the Tuono or the Street Fighter V4, those are probably not probably, in my opinion, those are the best bikes.
You've ridden the Motomillion Street Fighter quite a bit too. I mean, if coming from a Ducati fanboy, the Aprilia is actually a little more, the Tuono is more friendly because you don't have the heat, right? The warmth.
I actually didn't feel that much that warmth on the Street Fighter.
No?
I don't remember it right now.
The Street Fighter, for whatever reason, is better than the Panigale V4s. But also the Aprilia, a lot of people complain about the heat on the Aprilia, but for whatever reason, our Tuono's never been hot. And guys, it's not just me, because I'm maybe used to the warmth of the Ducatis, but here's Michael.
People complain about the Aprilias.
Yeah, like a lot of comments are saying the Aprilias are hot. But don't forget, so now it has a Gabriel tune on it, which apparently helps with heat management, but it's only the fans kicking in earlier, you know, so there's this kicking earlier with the up map now, but it's not that bad. One thing that was common maybe in these two bikes that is also a high praise coming from a BMW rider is they have both the Cordona Quickshifters.
Yes.
And I think, as I was saying on my ride, because it was one of the mods that we just did, is the Quickshifters, especially on the Aprilia, it's a night and day difference what it was on the Aprilia. And I got it to confirm with Michael, and this is kind of cool because it's not just me, right? Because I have a different experience in terms of like the background, the bikes that I've ridden recently. So, and also Michael has, I think, a lot more experience on two wheels, and also he has completely different. I also think that you have different tastes or likes of what you want things to be. But the first thing that he also mentioned on the Panigale V2 is like, that's
probably the best, like the easiest way how to put it in neutral. You know, like many times you guys, everyone, all of us, looking for the neutral, and then you go between first and second all the time. And this is like, I was surprised, like butter, just like click, always in neutral first time. I don't know.
Well, on the BMWs, it's hard. Especially the 2020s.
I know they had an issues, but remember the whole engine was changed, you know. So on mine, so I don't have that issue on my bike. But you know, that one is good too, of course. And the quick shifters both work perfectly. But I didn't feel how the stock quick shifter felt.
No,
like
it was
on
bad.
this.
It was clunky. It felt like a GSXR 1000. I don't know if you've ever ridden it. It's a clunk up, clunk down, and part throttle was actually pretty bad. Like riding around town, it would just it just hit you, you know. And this, I don't know what they did with the electronics because it's not adjustable; it's plug and play.
No, it was super smooth, even in the low RPM. I even told you when we were riding, like I was surprised how smoothly it shift when actually you go like slow, when you go like 3,000-4,000 RPM and you shift it. Because most of the quick shifter shifts nicely when you're revving it and you go full gas and you know, and it goes nicely. But when you go slower and like on and off the throttle and then you shift in, then it's like usually like a jerk or something. But it felt both of them great.
Cool.
Actually, just this one, you know, that we find out that there was like a flat spot or something, right?
Yeah,
like there was,
so on the V2, I just think that's a characteristic of the engine. Maybe 6,000-7,000 RPM or maybe even 8,000.
No, 8,000 is already kicking it. Like 6,000 was the flat spot. I felt it the most in the second gear whenever I was riding in the second and I just like hit it. It was like, whoa, you know, so.
I don't know. I haven't ridden another V2 like hard, so I would have to compare. But this, yes, the bikes. I also think that, don't forget, we're used to running the big boy bikes, right?
Yeah.
So those everything on those bikes, everything's instant. On your S1000, you have shift cam. That is like, you know, it's best of both worlds. That S1000 made more torque than our V4 SV2.
Yeah.
Right? Not more horsepower, but.
Yeah, there was the, like what we were saying, I think I had like a good saying at that time when, but you cut it out from the video. It was like a 1.2 horsepower for $20,000.
Yeah. Well, I don't cut anything. I don't do the editing, so I didn't cut it out.
They edited. That was the difference, like a 1.2 horsepower for $20,000.
Yeah.
You guys choose.
Yeah, I guess, you know, it's cool because it's really hard to, I guess everybody thinks that we're coming from a position of trying to sell stuff, but obviously that's far from the truth. I think we're true enthusiasts here at Motomillion, and having someone from outside like Michael, who is a huge motorcycle fanatic and enthusiast, to come and confirm some of the things that we feel and like on the bike is pretty good.
You need to forgive many sometimes to be Ducati biased.
Yeah, I guess as Michael was just saying, we took a little break, but he was saying that you guys have to forgive me because I'm Ducati biased, but I really don't think so, because I truly believe having the best scenario is having all of them. But in terms of the total package, especially for someone like me, don't get me wrong, I don't commute on bikes. Michael hounds me all the time and texts me all the time, let's go ride. I have a million excuses not to go ride because number one, I'm busy. Number two, I have a family. Number three, it's hot. Not hot on the bike, hot in the air.
Yeah, there you go. Because you ride Ducatis.
Yeah, but speaking of Ducatis, so I just think that they have the total package, and the biggest news right now is that 2025 Panigale V4.
Yeah, I saw it, all the news and everything, and we saw it together, and it was like every time when something new come out with a different design or different design features, everybody is like, oh my god, the old one was better. Then 6 months later, everybody is like, oh, the old one is old already, everyone wants the new one. I already filtered out the way of looking at new products, you know, so whenever we've seen it and we know that the reason why they put this double-sided swing arm is because they have to have it by regulations in the racing, then you know, I think the bike looks great.
Yeah. And it's crazy that it's lighter.
It's gonna be amazing.
That's the crazy part. So the Panigale V4 was pretty light. I don't know if you guys are hearing on camera, we have a pretty good thunderstorm going on, so good thing that we came back from our ride. But yeah, going back to the Panigale V4, it's crazy that swing arm is lighter. But
that's the nicest swing arm, the double-sided swing arm I ever seen.
That's what I was going to say, that I think if people are angry that the single-sided swing arm is gone and it looks beautiful, I think it's probably the most beautiful expression of a double-sided swing arm I've yet to see.
If you get the ZX10, you have there two 2x4s, black. You know, that's how it looks like. No, it's just like square tubing over there. You know, it's like it looks like it was engineered by 12-year-old. Yeah. But you know, so this one looks great. It looks amazing.
I can't wait to get. Hopefully, we'll have it here by October.
Yeah,
that's what Ducati Miami said. So.
And the screen looks like a tablet.
Yeah,
huge.
I mean, I'm not the, you know, it's, in a car it's different, but I think in a bike, I could care less about the screen of the Panigale V4, especially the newest in 2022 when they updated it. I think it's good enough. Like, do I need GPS? You know, I'm not on an adventure bike, but now it has like turn-by-turn navigation, everything that the BMW has, they have it on it. So the screen is nice, the engine is fairly the same, so.
But when I was buying my S1000RR, I was literally deciding between the RS V4 1100, my S1000RR, and the V4. The V4 was, of course, more expensive, and all the parts more expensive. The exhaust is more expensive, so that's why I was like, okay, I'm not getting the V4. So I was choosing between the RS V4 and the S1000, and I actually. Like, one of the deciding factors was the electronics and the screen of the BMW than these Aprilia, you know, so the screen is not comparable to the BMW, you know, and it's not just the screen, like all the adjustment electronics, I don't know, is much nicer, and the design and the color schemes at the time made me to choose the S1000. But the engine, the performance, the way how it handles, the way how it rides, I would take the Aprilia, you know, but still because of the dash, the design, the colors, and all these things, I chose the BMW.
I guess it's a good time to ride motorcycles because there's so much. I think that they all have pluses and minuses. I'll be honest, I think the BMW S1000 is more well-rounded package. And I hadn't ridden one for a while. Today I actually jumped on his S1000RR. It has by far, I still think, the best quickshifter, even stock quickshifter, and we have the Alpha Racing on your bike, that it's still the best quickshifter feel and performance-wise. But we're going to make a video soon. It's not going to air out yet, but it's called Revisiting the K67 S1000RR. And it's going to be based on your 2020. And we had this conversation. The S1000RR was released in 2019. I think we received the first bikes in February or March. So it's properly 5 years old. But in all of these new bikes that is out, you know, the Panigale V4 got a refresh, a fairly bigger refresh than the S1000, you know. But the screen of that S1000, I think, is still the one that pleases the most everyone, because when it came out, it was just so out of ordinary. it still is, I think, better than any other alternatives in terms of what you get on the screen, the menus. But the bike itself also, speed-wise, you know, reliability-wise, we're not going to go there. As Michael mentioned, he's actually on a second engine. He had a much different warranty experience than we did, but those are topics that I think it's been well discussed by us and by people who are ignorant to a lot of the facts of the case, so we're not going to go there. But I mean, overall, as a package, it's crazy that the S1000RR is...
yeah, it was the best package, like with all the things that I could consider of the bike, you know.
And when they work, they work. So, like Michael rides, he doesn't abuse them, but he rides his bikes, track and street, and they are fairly reliable. You know, I don't think we could pick and choose and say reliability is a thing. I think a lot of people were kind of thinking that we were bashing BMW. I think it wasn't the fact. It was just we're bashing the warranty process and the lack thereof, let's say. But the BMW is crazy, right? Because there's no leak saying there's the newborn coming out.
Nothing,
Yeah, the newest thing was the M1000RR, but...
Yeah, I guess that's what they did, right? Like, because the V4s, they look all the same, right? Like, if you have the oldest one to the newest one, there is no visual difference.
No, so 2018 was narrow body.
Oh yeah,
no
there was
winglets.
narrow body. Yeah.
2020 got the body of the V4, and then 2022 got the different winglets.
So those are the changes, like changes in the BMW, that they integrated the winglets in there and made the front
BMW's had one update.
Yeah, made the lip a little bit different, and they have different trims, right? Like you have SP2, you have R, you have regular V4.
But that's just them being smart, trying to sell you a product.
That's true, yes. But yeah, so the BMW came up with like completely different design, right? Like the M1000RR, it's different.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, the engine is also the same, but internals are different.
I think I would just out of the whole experience of things, I would take your S1000RR. I think the homologation bikes probably have some faults of their own because they're not made for the road.
But people taking M1000 because they want to come to the meetup and show that they have M1000 seem like a huge factor why Ducati's dealers doing good.
Yeah, I mean,
people who didn't care if it cost 25 or 35,000, they go, they buy the Ducati, and they say their friends they have a Ducati. That's a big factor of buying. It seems like why people buying Ferraris.
The M1000 is like 44,000 or something. It's expensive now.
How much is V4R?
It's same, like 44, 48.
There you go, you know. And I would say, you know, probably this is my statistics from coming from my gut, then that you probably people with M1000RR, let's say, ride it harder, I would say, than the people with V4Rs, except Ep. I would think that the V4R people many of them is gonna be just coffee racers. You know,
yeah, I mean,
going Sunday.
I say it right. I'm a typical Ducati rider.
Yeah, but there's nothing bad. I'm not bashing it or something. I'm just.
But could it be that the bikes cost more, so people who make more money are busier to go do other things?
You see, there you go, there you go. Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like the look of the M1000, the new M1000RR. I've never been a huge. So Motomillion started off at the S1000RR. You've seen that bike.
Yeah.
I think it was so out of its time at the time too. But back in the day, I think the S1000RR in 2015 especially, they did it. It was a huge leap in the superbike world.
Yeah.
But I don't know why the excitement of it kind of went away from me. Just, again, maybe because the riding I do is a lot different now, right? And the Ducati, I always say it, for the short distance from here to the coffee shop, and I'm using that expression right now, and I'm not joking around at all, because short rides, in a short ride, the Ducati is, I think there's no experience of the noise, you know, the dry clutch. And
that's what I wanted to say. I would not want to have really a V4 without the dry clutch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason why I would buy the bike.
Well,
to have a dry clutch.
There's a dry clutch for the S1000s too now.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's clear clutch cover, it's not the dry clutch.
No, there's a dry clutch conversion kit for it too now.
Yeah?
Yeah, should we put on your bike?
Sounds odd, right? It's like I don't know, you put carbon fiber on Lada or something. It's like, I would be like mixed feelings.
He comes from a communist country when he says Lada.
Yeah, exactly.
But have you seen the spin of carbon fiber? Did you see the new StarTech wheels?
No.
The BSD? Oh, I got to show them to you and get your opinion.
Oh,
probably
yeah, I think I did.
Yeah.
I think you showed it to me.
Yeah,
no,
so we actually ordered
great.
a bunch of them.
They were great. They looked great.
We ordered some for Aprilia build, and it's not going to be here in time. You've seen the wheels for the Aprilia build.
Yeah.
We're not going to say the color scheme what we're going with, but what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's super nice.
Yeah.
It's very nice. It's fitting the scheme. It's, I don't know, I like them.
Yeah, and we got to go take it for a ride because the wheels are lighter. Let's see, because you were saying that the Aprilia doesn't feel as nimble as the Panigale V2.
Definitely
We'll
not.
see maybe if the wheels make a difference.
And it's supposed to, right? Like you have big wide handlebars and everything, and I literally jump directly on that, and it felt heavier, less nimble. Of course, way more power.
And you guys on camera can't see, but the Tuono is sitting there. That's why we keep pointing.
Yeah, that's why
there.
I'm pointing. The Tuono is there, and the V2 is here.
We just put the V2 here because it's pretty.
Yeah, Tuono's not yet.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, that was our thoughts of after the ride and probably some relevant stuff of ongoing at the time. And I would like to hear what you guys have to say about this format of video. I would love to get your opinions on anything that we discussed as well, because I try to read the comments as much as possible. So if you guys can comment down below and join the conversation, that'll be great. And also give us feedback. We'll try to do it monthly. Get Michael in here. He travels around a lot, so he travels the world more than I do. So I'm here all the time, but he's not. But we'll try to stick him in here and get some thoughts. Maybe we'll go for a ride and we'll do this, just as we said, after ride. And then that's when everything is fresh in our memory. I think what we got to do next is probably put him on the Panigale V2 and then put him on our SP2 so that we get that Panigale V2 versus V4 debate, because that's been a debate that's been on my mind of do you really need a Panigale V4 when you have the Panigale V2 that it has, I think, you know, for general public, if you want to say you have a Ducati, it has all that except the price tag, and we'll see. But I want to thank Michael for being a good sport, coming in for a ride with us and riding our bikes and giving us his opinions. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Until next time, guys, have a good one.